Hey everyone, we are live and this is Taylor Your Life. Tonight I am bringing on some special guests, Shane and Joanna Daly. I'm super excited to bring them onto camera tonight. We are going to be discussing the book Start With Why by Simon Sinek. This is a great book. It talks about why you should find your purpose first. And right here on screen you can see we have Shane and Joanna. Welcome, guys.
Hello!
Just Shane.
Excited to see you guys. You hanging in there?
Oh yeah.
Oh, no,
Yeah, it's kind of
All right,
glitchy.
there we go. All right, so we are discussing our why today. So this is Taylor Your Life. I have a dream of owning my time and believe that you guys can do anything. My channel, these videos are a daily discipline meant to hold me accountable and inspire you as we grow together and accomplish our goals. I'm super excited. We're going to talk about starting with why today. So why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourself to people that might not know who you are.
All right, yeah. So I'm Shane Daly. This is my wife, Joanna Daly. Yeah, and I'm self-employed, sort of. But actually, as of today, I sold my business, which is super duper exciting. And we're pursuing other ventures, and it's pretty cool.
And I'm Joanna. I'm his wife. And I am an optometrist by trade.
Oh, that's awesome. So not only are these guys an optometrist and a former business owner, a super cool business with golf carts, they also have tons of pursuits outside of their jobs, which is super cool. They're into photography. You guys have done debt reduction classes with Dave Ramsey, and I know it's something you guys are super dedicated to by driving that Taurus in that Ford truck. I love those cars so much. One of the reasons I love you guys, they're also super into we met playing kickball and volleyball together. So they're into a whole bunch of different things, and lately Joanna has a club for Montrose young professionals, and she chose the book Start With Why by Simon Sinek. Could you tell people how you found the book, what Montrose young professionals is, and why we chose it?
Yeah, sure. So Montrose Young Professionals is a part of the Chamber of Commerce. It's for people 21 to 40 within Montrose that either live or work in Montrose that gets to connect and kind of a lot of people in Montrose, they come to Montrose, they do the Montrose thing, Colorado, and they move away. So we wanted to establish a community in our town that people will stay and become old professionals. And so we decided this year to have a monthly book club. So Start With Why. The tagline is how great leaders inspire everyone to take action. So we had someone on our committee actually pick the book, so I had no control over picking this book, but I'm really glad she did because I made lots of little things of all my favorite quotes and stuff, and it was pretty epic.
It's an epic book. So if you guys don't know who Simon Sinek is, this guy's a super interesting guy. He studied anthropology in London and came over to the United States and tried out some different businesses. And he finally found out that there's some really big similarities between some top companies and the human brain. He's super interested in everything. He's a nerd, so I super relate. So one of his major principles is what we're going to be talking tonight. It's the golden circle, and I figured we would start there. So he says that people make their decisions, people talk and communicate this way in different ways. So there's people that start with why, and there's people that start with the how and the what. Basically, how and what are the outer rings of the circle, and in those rings, this is generally how people communicate. This is how we're doing it, and this is what we're doing. But not a lot of people start with the why, the inner circle, and it's created by biology. The outer circle, the what and the how, is your neocortex. Those are the decision-making, rational thought, and you can't have any language in that part. The inner part is your oh my goodness, can't remember. The inner part of your brain is not rational and used for emotions and decision making. So he says that people that start with why, like Apple, have more of a purpose that they can bring to other people. So the greatest example of this is with Samuel Pierpont Langley. Does anyone know who he is? If you do, give me a thumbs up. I bet you don't because I'd never heard of him. So this guy was the most famous scientist back in the day. Hey, there's one. There was a famous scientist back in the day, and he was given all the money, all the people, all the resources to go out and achieve flight. Couldn't do it because the Wright brothers went out and did it before him. They had a purpose of why. They wanted to build a flying machine. They had no education, no tools, no money. They went out and did it. With Mr. Pierpont Langley, he was doing it for the as soon as the Wright brothers accomplished flight, he dropped out. So he's one of the biggest examples that Simon uses. So what was your take on all that?
So I actually haven't read the book because I'm not much of a reader. I'm so slow. But I watched the TED Talk on it, and so I understand the principles, and
Yes.
I know the information you're talking about. So last night I was actually watching this TED Talk, and I was laying in bed, and we were watching it before bed, and less than 5 minutes into the TED Talk, as Simon Sinek was talking about the basically the bullseye, the three rings of the golden circle. Uh, less than 5 minutes in, I realized why I sold my business. And
Oh, that's so
I
awesome.
understand. Like it's crazy. I paused it. I'm like, Joanna, I know why I'm selling the business. Like it's because I'm a why guy. Like I have to know why.
Yes.
And with the business, like it's a good business. I didn't hate the work, but I didn't
Hmm.
have a why. Like I didn't know
Absolutely.
why I was doing it. Like it just wasn't something that I was super driven about. And so as of today, it was sold, and it was really cool. And like obviously, the rest of the TED Talk was really cool. And now I really want to read the book. I'm just so slow. I have to catch up on all the books that I'm currently reading. So,
I think you're touching on a super great
but
point there.
yeah,
This is
Joanna
kind of how I
has read it, and
discovered
she's
what.
told me a lot.
Yeah, that's an awesome point that you
Huh?
found it with your business, and I think a lot of people get lost in the how and the what. I'm super glad that you found the why for your business. So many of us are working crazy hours, or we're doing things that make us uncomfortable, and we have a sense of what we're doing, but the reason that the why sometimes get lost. Well, it's for my family. Well, then why are you spending all the hours away from your family to go do that? Like sometimes the why
Right.
gets lost. So how do you guys kind of redefine and discover those whys?
Oh man. I think you kind of just it for me it kind of finds itself. Like at least I find my why with just what I want to do, but it's not always about what you want. Um, I would say like with my next venture, what I'm going into is something that I can actually support and something that I can actually get behind. And the reason for me doing it, there is a why, not just there's a market for it, you know? And
Uh-huh.
so that's kind of how I find it. And then also more recently, as I get older, like I'll have a free day or something like that. And I'll be like, oh, cool, I'm gonna go do these fun things, and I forget what I used to do for fun. Like, I have no idea what I want to do for fun anymore because
Right?
I haven't done it. Like, we haven't had time. We've been working so much, and so for me, it's like this isn't right, and we really need to restructure some things. We need to look at different stuff, and so we've just been changing everything about our lives and trying to make more time for our family, trying to make more time to uh, go to dinner with friends, to do stuff like this with you. You know, we're not like oh no, got to go to bed, got to get up and go to work, and all this stuff. Like it's just really nice to try and have that time and to own your time. You know.
Yeah, and that's
I think for
absolutely my
me,
dream. Go ahead.
sorry. So I have a quote for the year that like I'm kind of basing all of our just or my decisions or whatever on. So the quote that I have is, "You can do anything you want, but you can't do everything you want." And I feel like when I was in college and I was trying to get into optometry school, I was like, the president of the
Mhm.
Fellowship of Christian Optometrists, and I was the worship leader, and I was doing this, and I was doing all these things for the next goal, but then I wasn't able to be really good at any one of them. I was just kind of good at everything. And so,
Right.
um, like, I want to be excellent at every single thing I do. So I
Hmm.
can't do that if I'm doing a bajillion things. And then, if I want to be the best wife, I can't work 70 hours a week. And
That's
so,
right.
um, yeah, so that's kind of actually one of the reasons why we actually are stopping to do photography. Like, we love
Full time.
photography, like, full time.
That's
So
awesome.
like, shooting weddings on the weekends, Shane had the golf car stuff, and then at any weekend off, he'd come help me shoot a wedding, and we're spending time together, but we're not really spending time together. We're like working, and then I have to edit the photos and the videos, and then we have to meet with the clients and do all these things, and it was great, but it was like it didn't fit our why. It didn't like it was just like the good news is there's so many good photographers. We can we can step back and let other people do that because that's probably their why, and that's great, and that didn't fit with us. And so we're able to, it just so happens that I make more money as an optometrist than a photographer, and so I feel like I should do that more.
Right? Absolutely. That's so great, guys. So if you're just tuning in, I've got Shane and Joanna here. One's an optometrist. One just sold his business because he found his why. I'm super excited about his next venture. This is Taylor with Taylor Your Life. My why is that I'm here because I believe I can own my time, and I have a dream that you guys can do anything. Daily dedication. I'm putting out these videos to help you guys out. The reason why I'm doing it is because I'm taking the time so I can be with the ones I love, be financially secure and physically fit, and hopefully inspire other people to do it. I don't want anything from you other than your stories, which is why we have Shane and Joanna on here tonight. So they've discovered their why, I've discovered my why, and we want to challenge you guys to go and find your why. I think this is super important. If your job is killing you, what is the reason you're doing that job? Is it to make enough money to get to the next step, like Joanna was just talking about, how she was best at everything just to get herself to the next step? I think we all get caught in that trap of almost destination happiness, where if we accomplish this goal and I'll be happy when, and when I do this goal, I'm working towards that goal, and we don't own the moment and we don't have our why. So finding that purpose, and then I think the best quote that I've found for this is that you have to be relentless in your dream or your goal, but flexible in the method to pursue it. So pick that big goal, pick that big dream, and then find your way to it, and make sure that it doesn't revolve around what you do because it makes you more money. Do what you do because it gets you to where you want to be in life. And I've started to make these adjustments, and if you guys have been around me or with me, you've seen I've had more time to do things like Shane's men's group, which I'm looking forward to tomorrow morning at 6. We're getting together and meeting with those guys, having people on. We get to have you in my house tonight. Anyway, so it is Thirsty Thursday. Did you guys bring any beverages?
I have a beer.
And I have a root beer.
Nice. That's awesome. I got some vanilla caramel tea. It was on sale at City Market. It's delicious. So I'm going for that tonight.
All right.
So anyways, if you're just tuning in, we're discussing Simon Sinek's book. We talked about the golden circle, starting with why and working your way out. But the next thing that I want to talk about is partnerships with people who are why people, like Shane, and people who are how or what people, and how that can benefit. From what I understand, Joanna, you're probably the same as Shane.
Oh,
we lost you for a second.
No, I'm still here. I said you're not the same as Shane. So Shane is a Y person. Joanna, you are not a Y person in particular. And you guys partnering together can help you work towards a bigger Y. Huh? Right? Maybe?
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. So, yeah, I'm definitely a Y guy, and I have to know why and everything. And then, Joanna, you'd be...
I'm a how person. Once I know why, I can take that and run with it, and I can make all these plans. Like in the book, it talked about Martin Luther King and how he was the why guy, and then the guy behind him had the how they were going to do it. So, like, if he was standing at the Lincoln Memorial and said, "I have a plan," that would not have worked. I have a dream that inspires me, and then the guy behind him was able to tell you how. So Shane is the why setter and explaining, and we kind of decide together, and Shane's like, this is the why, and then I can help implement it, and it's works awesome.
That's amazing. And I think it's super important because when you talk to people sometimes you get in a frustration loop. I know that I'm a big why guy. Give me the big picture. What am I working towards? What's the purpose? What fills me up? Where am I going? And I talk to people that are like, today I must mail this envelope. I must pay this bill. I must fix my car, drop these things off. And I'm like, I don't understand what each step is. I understand that I want to be successful, and I think being able to focus back down on some of the hows to serve my why has been helpful, and a lot of that is due to Sierra. I'm not going to lie. She's awesome. So that's been super helpful. The last thing I wanted to talk about from the book, as my lighting goes out, is that I wanted to talk about the leadership versus authority. I think this is one of my favorite parts of the book. It kind of tells you that you can lead wherever you are, and just because people are in a position of authority, sometimes they speak with the how and the what, but you don't follow their why. So I was just wondering if you guys have any examples of that, or if you guys have any feelings towards that particular thought.
Yeah, so I guess I kind of made some notes of what I think of leadership, and a lot of leadership in my experiences has been knowing when to lead and when to be a leader. And that's been kind of the people in my life that have been the most impactful to me as a leader and great representations of what a leader is. They're in there, they're working with you and stuff, and then when they need to be, they lead, and I could see that with different employees that I've had. Like my first employee a couple years ago, I wasn't a very good leader and kind of I didn't want to become that super strict, mean, cruel boss that everybody hates. I wanted to be more fun and friendly, and like I just kind of hoped that people would get the job done, and it wasn't the case.
Right.
But then the next receptionist I had after that, kind of from the beginning had that precedent, and we built that relationship well. And then after that, we kind of more rolled into the friend role, and that was a little bit more fitting. But she was leaps and bounds better of an employee and got way more done, and I could trust her with way more stuff, just because she had that expectation. She knew what needed to be done, and kind of there's consequences if it didn't get done, and she couldn't just sit there and talk on her phone all day.
Yeah, that's super helpful. I think the thing that's inspiring about this, I think in one of Simon Sinek's videos, not in his book, he talks about one of the old former generals of the military. The year before he came and he discussed this like leadership versus your position. And so the military leader, he was a general. The year before he came in a limousine, they gave him a super fancy cup. They rolled him up to the event. He went in the back door. They took him up to the stage where they had everything prepared for him in a special green room. And he realized the next year when he came, he had to book his own hotel. He had to get his own cabbie. And he drank coffee from a styrofoam cup. And ad hoc at the speech, he said, you know what? These things weren't for me in myself. These things were for my position. And now that I don't hold the position, I don't hold those things, and it shows that no one's entitled to anything. And I led because people followed my why. They didn't follow me because of my how or my what or my title. And so you can be a leader wherever you are, but know that every person holds the styrofoam cup, and I thought that was awesome. So that's like one of my favorite examples that he gave. So it's been super fun, guys. Any closing thoughts?
Ooh. I think for us, like, I mean, like, reading our Bible kind of, like, grounds us, and it kind of is the source of our why and everything, but we also, I lost what I was going to say. Go for it.
I think we find a lot of our why just from having other people to talk with and to bounce ideas off of. And so, like, that's one of the reasons I started the mastermind group that we're part of, that tomorrow we're meeting at 6 in the morning, so that we can help each other grow, and we can be there together, and we're kind of in similar points of our lives, but then also meeting with people that are older and wiser than us, and they can kind of feed our desire to learn and to grow. And so don't be afraid to reach out to that mentor-esque person that is willing to get early and go have breakfast with you and just chat, maybe no agenda, but just be willing to feed into your life. And that doesn't happen a ton for me, but when I do get to have those opportunities, it's really valuable and very, very impactful and awesome.
Absolutely. So just kind of to sum it all up, here's some of my closing thoughts on all this. We talked about Simon Sinek's book, Start With Why. This is Taylor Your Life. I have a dream of owning my time and believe that you guys can do anything. I make these videos every day to keep myself accountable and to inspire you so we can all grow together. I'm learning from Shane and Joanna and the things that they've done to help reduce their debt, how they make their mission, how they live outside their 9 to 5. I'm meeting with Shane tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. We've founded a group of guys that are trying to do the same thing here in Montrose. You can reach out if you're interested. If you want to learn more, you can go to my channel. I have over 20 videos now talking about a bunch of different topics. Now, I'm not an expert on anything yet. I'm sharing my thoughts and ideas and hoping you guys share back. I am accomplishing a lot. I'm taking a lot of the principles from different things and putting them into my life and being super disciplined by getting up every morning and publishing this content for you. Thank you if you've liked my page recently. For Shane and Joanna to come on tonight, these guys are incredible people, and I'm super excited that they're here. I'm super excited that Shane just got his business sold and is moving on to his next venture, working with cars. I know that Joanna's got some really exciting stuff planned for the future. I'm really excited for you. It's going to be pretty neat. So we're going to have you guys on again, and all the things we talked about today, I want us to keep our why in hand, and I challenge everyone that watched today to go ahead and find your why and let us know what it is. And hopefully we can all work together and grow. So anyways, thank you guys for sharing your time. Yes, that book right there. We will see you guys later. I'll be making a video tomorrow, and we will see you then. Have a good night, everyone, and we'll talk to you tomorrow morning, Shane. We'll see you, buddy.
Bye. See you, buddy.
Bye, guys.